This book did not come into your life by accident. You may think you just found it, or someone shared it, or you were simply passing time. But sometimes the right words reach you at the exact moment you are ready to hear them. Not when life is easy, but when something inside you feels unfinished. Right now you might feel lost, or maybe not completely lost, but not where you want to be. You might be tired of repeating the same days, the same habits, the same thoughts. You might feel like you are capable of more, but something keeps holding you back. And the hardest part is this: you cannot fully explain what is wrong. You just feel it. This book is for that feeling, the quiet frustration, the hidden potential, the voice inside you that says there is more. This is not a fantasy story. This is not about instant success or overnight transformation. This is about reality, the kind that most people avoid. The truth that change is not easy, that growth is uncomfortable, that you will doubt yourself many times. But also the truth that your life can change, not because of luck, not because of someone else, but because of you. There is a moment before every transformation, a moment where nothing looks different on the outside, but something begins to shift on the inside. This book is about that moment. Imagine this. You are standing one day before your entire life changes. Not because everything will magically fix itself, but because you will finally see clearly. You will finally decide. You will finally take responsibility. Most people wait for the perfect time. They wait to feel ready. They wait to feel confident. They wait for things to make sense. And while they wait, life keeps moving. Opportunities pass. Time disappears. Regret slowly builds. This book will not let you stay comfortable. It will challenge you. It will question your excuses. It will show you the reality you may have been avoiding. Not to make you feel bad, but to wake you up. Because deep down you already know. You know when you are avoiding action. You know when you are capable of more. This book will not give you a new life. It will show you how to take control of the one you already have. Every chapter you read is not just information. It is a mirror. You will see your habits, your fears, your patterns, and most importantly, you will see your choices. You are not here to stay the same. You are here to grow, to struggle, to learn, to become stronger than the version of you that is reading this right now. The truth is simple. Your life will change. It always does. The only question is, will you be the one who changes it? Or will you wait for life to decide for you? No sign in the sky, no sudden message, no dramatic event. It feels like every other day you have lived. You wake up. You check your phone. You move through your routine. Everything looks the same. But something is different. You just cannot see it yet. This is the day before everything changes. Not because life suddenly becomes easy. Not because all your problems disappear. But because something inside you begins to shift. Most people think change starts with big moments. A huge opportunity. A major success. A life-changing event. But real change does not begin there. It begins quietly. It begins in a moment that feels small. A thought, a realization, a question. Take the example of Ali. Ali was living a life that looked normal from the outside. He had a job. He had people around him. He had a routine. But inside, he felt stuck. Every day felt the same. Wake up, work, come home, sleep, repeat. He told himself this is just how life is. He stopped expecting more. On this day, nothing different happened to him. No one came to save him. No opportunity knocked on his door. But something small changed. He noticed his own life. For the first time he paid attention. Not to others, not to social media, not to distractions, But to himself, he asked a simple question. Is this really the life I want? That question was uncomfortable, because deep down he already knew the answer. No, most people avoid this question, because it forces them to face the truth, that they are not living the life they want. And even harder, that they are responsible for it. Responsibility feels heavy. It is easier to blame. Blame circumstances. Blame other people. Blame bad luck. Ali had done the same for years. He told himself, if I had better chances, if I had more support, if things were different, then I would be different. But on this day, something changed. He stopped blaming. Not completely, but enough to see clearly. He realized something powerful. Nothing will change if I keep living like this. That realization did not make him happy. It made him uncomfortable. It made him restless. It made him aware. And awareness is where change begins. Look at your own life, not the version you show others, but the real one, the habits you repeat, the time you waste, the things you avoid. Be honest. Are you moving forward? Or are you just staying busy? There is a difference. Being busy, but it often hides the truth. That you are not actually progressing. Ali realized this. He was busy every day. But he was not growing. He started noticing small things. How much time he spent scrolling. How often he made excuses. How easily he gave up on difficult things. None of these felt like big problems. But together, they were shaping his life. This is what most people miss. Your life is not controlled by one big decision. It is controlled by small repeated actions. On this day, Ali did not change everything. He did not make a huge plan. He just stopped ignoring reality. That was his first step. Now take another example. Sarah. Sarah always believed she could do something more. She had ideas. She had dreams. But she kept waiting. Waiting to feel ready. Waiting for the right time. On this day, she saw something clearly. She had been waiting for years. And nothing had changed. That realization hit her hard. Not because it was new, but because she finally accepted it. Time was passing. And she was still standing still. This is the moment many people face, but few act on. Because once you see the truth, you have two choices. Go back to comfort, or move forward into discomfort. Comfort feels safe, but it keeps you stuck. Discomfort feels difficult, but it leads to growth. Ali chose discomfort, not because he was fearless, but because he was tired of staying the same. He made a small decision. Tomorrow will not be the same. That decision was not loud. It did not change his life instantly, but it changed his direction, and direction is powerful, because even a small step in the right direction takes you somewhere new. Most people underestimate this moment, the day before everything changes, because it looks ordinary. But it is not ordinary. It is the beginning. Right now you might be in that same place. Nothing looks different. Nothing feels certain. But maybe something inside you is starting to wake up. A thought, a question, a feeling you cannot ignore. Do not ignore it. Because this might be your day before everything changes. Not because life will suddenly become perfect, but because you will no longer accept the life you are living. And that is where everything begins. Tomorrow does not need to be perfect. It just needs to be different. And that difference starts with you. Chapter 2. The lie you have been living. There is a story you have been telling yourself. You did not create it in one day. It built slowly over time, through experiences, through failures, through things people said to you. And now it feels real. The story sounds like this. I am not good enough. I am not ready. Every time you doubt yourself, every time you choose comfort over growth, this story feels true. But it is not. It is a lie you learned. You were not born believing you are limited. As a child, you tried everything, you failed and tried again. You did not overthink every step, but somewhere along the way, you started being careful. You started protecting yourself. Maybe someone told you that you cannot do something. Maybe you failed and felt embarrassed. Maybe you compared yourself to others and felt behind. Slowly, you built a belief. I should not try too much. I should not risk too much. I should stay where I feel safe. Safety became your habit, and that habit became your life. Take the example of Sarah. Sarah always had ideas. She would think about a small business, a project, a new path. But every time she got close, a voice inside her stopped her. Who do you think you are? You do not have enough experience. Others are better than you. So she stopped, not because she was incapable, but because she believed the voice. Years passed, and something painful happened. She started seeing other people doing what she once dreamed of. People who were not more talented, not more intelligent, just more willing to try. That is when the truth started to appear. Her biggest problem was not lack of ability. It was belief. The lie was not just holding her back. It was shaping her life. Now look at Imran. Imran believed something different. He believed he was unlucky. Every failure became proof. If something went wrong, he would say, "This always happens to me." So he stopped expecting success. And when you stop expecting something, you stop working for it. This is how the lie grows stronger. It changes how you act, and your actions create your results. Your results then confirm the lie. It becomes a cycle. You believe, so you do not try fully. So you fail or stay stuck. So you believe even more that you cannot. Breaking this cycle is not easy, because the lie feels like truth. But there is one thing that can break it: awareness. You have to see the lie clearly, not as reality, but as a story you accepted. Ask yourself, what am I believing about myself that might not be true? Maybe you believe you are too late. Maybe you believe you are not smart enough. Maybe you believe success is not for people like you. These are not facts. They are assumptions, and assumptions can be changed. Ali realized this on his own. He always believed he was average. Not bad, not great, just someone who lives a normal life. That belief kept him small, because he never pushed beyond what felt normal. One day he questioned it. What if I am not average? What if I have just never tested myself? That question opened something new. He did not suddenly become confident, but he became curious. And curiosity is powerful, because it makes you explore instead of avoid. You do not need to replace your negative beliefs with perfect confidence. You just need to question them. Instead of saying, "I cannot," say, "What if I can?" Instead of saying, "I am not ready," say, "What if I learn along the way?" This small shift changes everything, because your mind stops closing doors and starts seeing possibilities. The truth is simple. Most people are not limited by reality. They are limited by what they believe about reality, and beliefs can change, not instantly, not easily, but slowly through action. Every time you do something you thought you couldn't, every time you try again after failure, you weaken the lie. Every time you step outside your comfort, you weaken the lie. It does not disappear in one moment, but it loses power over time. Sarah eventually took a small step. She started something simple, not perfect, not big, just a beginning. It was uncomfortable. She doubted herself many times. But something important happened. She proved to herself that she can act despite fear. That was more valuable than success. Because once you see that you can move forward, the lie starts breaking. Imran also changed. Not because his life suddenly became easy, but because he stopped calling himself unlucky. He started taking responsibility. Small steps, small improvements. And slowly his results changed. Not because luck changed, but because his actions changed. And his actions changed because his belief changed. This is how transformation begins. Not with a big event, but with a shift in what you believe. You are not stuck because you cannot move. You are stuck because you believe you cannot. And the moment you question that belief, you create space for change. This is your moment. You do not need to have all the answers. You do not need to feel confident. You only need to stop believing the lie without questioning it. Because once you see it clearly, it loses its control over you. And when that happens, you begin to take your life back. Not all at once, but one decision at a time. And that is how everything starts to change. Chapter 3. The moment you decide. There is a moment in every life that looks small from the outside. No noise, no attention, but inside something shifts. A line is crossed. And after that, nothing is the same. This is the moment you decide. Most people think decisions are big. Quitting a job, starting something new, changing everything at once. But real decisions are quiet. They happen in your mind before they appear in your actions. It is the moment you stop negotiating with yourself. The moment you stop saying maybe tomorrow. The moment you stop waiting. Take the example of Imran. Imran had failed many times. Different jobs, small business attempts, plans that never worked. Every failure made him more careful, more hesitant. He started telling himself, maybe this is not for me. Maybe I should just accept what I have. That thought felt safe, but it also felt heavy, like he was slowly giving up on himself. One night he sat alone, no distractions, no noise, just his own thoughts. And for the first time he asked himself a direct question. How long will I keep living like this? There was no answer. Only silence. But that silence said everything. He realized something painful. Nothing will change unless I change. That moment was uncomfortable because it removed every excuse. No one else was responsible. No one else was coming to fix his life. It was all on him. Most people avoid this realization because it feels heavy. It feels like pressure. But it is also freedom, because if you are responsible, then you also have power. That night Imran made a decision. Not a loud one, not a perfect one, just a clear one. I will not quit on my... He did not know how things would work. He did not have a perfect plan. But he had something more important. He had commitment. That decision did not change his life instantly. The next day looked the same. Same environment, same challenges. But something inside him was different. He was no longer just thinking. He was deciding. There is a difference. Thinking creates possibilities. Deciding creates direction. When you decide, you stop asking if you should act. You start asking how you will act. Ali experienced this too. After realizing he was stuck, he spent days thinking, should I change? Should I try something new? What if I fail? Thinking made him feel busy, but it did not move him forward. One day he got tired of thinking. He made a simple decision. I will start no matter how small it is. That decision removed confusion. It removed delay. Now he did not need to figure out everything. He only needed to take the next step. This is what decisions do. They simplify your life. Without a decision, you stay in a loop, thinking, doubting, waiting. With a decision, you move. even if slowly. Sarah faced the same moment. She had been waiting for years, waiting to feel ready. But readiness never came. Only time passed. One day she saw the truth clearly. If I keep waiting, I will stay here forever. That thought was stronger, so she decided, I will begin even if I am not ready. That decision changed her path. Not instantly, but permanently. Because once you decide, you cannot go back to being unaware. You can still feel fear. But you know you have chosen a direction. And that matters. Many people confuse wishing with deciding. They say, I want to change. I want a better life. But they do not decide. A wish has no action. A decision demands action. A wish says maybe. A decision says now. Look at your own life. There are things you want, things you think about, things you keep delaying. The question is simple. Have you decided? Or are you still wishing? Because your life does not change when you want something. It changes when you decide to pursue it. Decision does not. It gives you a reason to move despite fear. It does not make things easy. It makes them possible. And possibility is enough to begin. This moment, right now, could be your moment. Not because everything is clear, but because you are ready to stop waiting. You do not need perfect conditions. You do not need full confidence. You only need to decide. Decide that you will try. Decide that you will not quit easily. Decide that you will take responsibility. It will feel uncomfortable. It will feel uncertain. But it will also feel real. Because for the first time, you are not just thinking about change. You are choosing it. And that is where everything begins. One decision, made honestly, followed by action. That is how a different life starts. But the moment you decide, Chapter 4, the pain that pushes you forward. Pain is something you try to avoid. You distract yourself from it. You ignore it. You hide it behind small comfort, and it grows quietly. Most people see pain as a problem. Something unfair, something negative, something to escape. But pain has a purpose. It is a signal. It tells you something is wrong. It tells you something needs to change. The problem is not pain. The problem is how you respond to it. Take the example of Hassan. Hassan woke up every day feeling heavy. His job drained him. His routine felt empty. He told himself, this is just how life is. Instead of facing his discomfort, he escaped it. Endless scrolling, watching videos, wasting hours. These distractions gave him temporary relief. But they did not solve anything. Every day the same feeling returned. Stronger than before. Years passed like this. Nothing changed. Because he never listened to his pain. One day something different happened. He had a long day at work. Tired, frustrated, empty. He came home and reached for his phone. But this time he stopped. He sat in silence. No distraction. No escape. And for the first time, he allowed himself to feel everything. It was uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. But in that discomfort, he heard something clearly. This is not the life you want. That thought was not new. But this time, he did not ignore it. He stayed with it. Pain became clarity. That moment changed him. Not because everything became easy, but because he stopped running. Most people never reach this point. They stay busy. They stay distracted. Because silence forces truth. And truth is uncomfortable. But truth is also necessary. Pain is not there to destroy you. It is there to guide you. If you feel stuck, that feeling is not random. It is a signal. If you feel frustrated, that frustration is not meaningless. It is pointing toward something. Ali felt this too. Before his change, he felt restless. Like something was missing. He tried to ignore it, telling himself, "Be grateful. This is enough." But deep inside, he knew it was not enough. That discomfort kept growing. Until one day, he stopped. He accepted it, and that acceptance gave him clarity. He realized, I am not unhappy for no reason. I am unhappy because I am not growing. That realization hurt. But it also gave him direction. Pain shows you what needs attention. Sarah experienced a different kind of pain, regret. She watched time pass, watched others move forward. Every day she delayed. That regret grew. At first it was small, easy to ignore. But over time, it became heavy. She started asking herself, what if I never try? That question created a different kind of pain, the pain of missed opportunity. And that pain was stronger than fear. It pushed her to act. This is the power of pain. There are two types of pain. The pain of staying the same, and the pain of changing. The pain of staying the same feels easy because it is familiar, but over time, it becomes heavier. The pain of change feels difficult in the beginning, because it is uncomfortable, but it leads to growth. Most people choose the first, because they want comfort now. But that choice creates long-term regret. A few people choose the second, because they are willing to feel discomfort now. And that choice creates a different life. The question is simple. Which pain are you choosing? Hassan finally chose not because he felt strong, but because staying the same became more painful. He started small, learning something new, exploring options. It was not easy. He doubted himself. He struggled, but something had changed. He was moving, and movement creates momentum. Pain will not disappear from your life, but its role can change. Instead of holding you back, it can push you forward. Instead of being something you avoid, it becomes something you learn from. The next time you feel discomfort, do not run immediately. Pause. Listen. Ask yourself, what is this trying to tell me? Because inside that feeling, there is direction. Inside that discomfort, there is truth. And inside that truth, there is the beginning of change. This might be the moment where you stop escaping and start understanding. Because once you understand your pain, it no longer controls you. It guides you. And that guidance can take you somewhere new, not instantly, but step by step. And a powerful motivation, a clear path. They believe change must begin with something big, something impressive. But real change does not start like that. It starts small. So small that most people ignore it. This is why many people stay stuck. They are looking for a big step, while life is asking for a small one. Take the example of Ali. After his realization, after his decision, he felt pressure to fix everything. But he could not, because everything felt too big, too overwhelming. Then he understood something important. I do not need to change everything today. I only need to begin. That thought changed his approach. Instead of trying to rebuild his whole life, he chose one simple action. He decided to wake up 1 hour earlier. That was it. No complicated plan, no major risk. Just one small change. At first, it felt useless. He thought, how can 1 hour change anything? But he stayed consistent. In that 1 hour, he started learning, reading, thinking, understanding himself. Days passed. That 1 hour became a habit. Weeks passed. That habit became part of his life. Slowly things started shifting. Not dramatically, but noticeably. He felt more in control, more aware, more focused, all from one small step. This is how change works. Small actions repeated consistently create big results over time. Now look at Sarah. She had been waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect idea, the perfect confidence, but nothing felt perfect. So she stayed stuck until she changed one thing. She stopped waiting. She decided to start imperfectly. Her first step was simple. She shared her idea with one person. That was it. It felt uncomfortable. She doubted herself. She thought, what if they judge me? But something important happened. Nothing bad happened. The fear she had imagined did not become real. Next she took another step. Then another. Each step was small, but together they created movement. Imran followed a similar path. After deciding not to quit, he felt lost. He did not know what to do first. Instead of overthinking, he chose one simple action. He wrote down his goals, not perfectly, not in detail, just clearly. That gave him direction. Then he took one step toward it, small, uncertain, but real. This is the difference between people who change and people who stay the same. People who change take small steps consistently. People who stay the same wait for big steps that never come. You might be thinking, small steps are too slow. But staying still is slower. A small step, waiting keeps you in the same place. Progress is not about speed. It is about direction. Even a slow movement forward is better than standing still. There is another truth about small steps. They build confidence, not by thinking, but by doing. Every small action proves something to you. That you can move, that you can try, that you can act despite doubt. This is how belief grows, not from words, but from experience. Ali did not become confident by thinking. He became confident by showing up every day. Sarah did not remove fear completely. She learned to act with it. Imran did not find a perfect plan. He created clarity through action. This is the power of starting small. It removes pressure. You do not need to fix everything. You only need to take one step, and then another. Most people fail because they try to do too much at once. They get overwhelmed. They quit early. Small steps prevent this. They make change manageable. They make progress sustainable. Now think about your own life. What is one small step you can take? Not a big goal, not a huge plan, just one action. Something simple, something possible. It could be waking up earlier, learning something new, starting a task you have been avoiding. It does not need to be perfect. It just needs to be real. Because the first step is not about success. It is about starting. And once you start, everything begins to shift. Not immediately. And that is enough. You do not need to see the whole path. You only need to take the first step, because every big change begins with something small, and that small beginning is what most people never take. Do not be like most people. Take the step, even if it feels small, because that small step is the beginning of everything new. And one day, you will look back and realize it all started there. Chapter 6. The fear that tries to stop you. The moment you start moving, fear appears. Not later, not after success, but at the very beginning. It shows up quietly, as a thought, as a doubt, as a question. What if you fail? What if people judge you? What if you are not? These thoughts feel real. They feel important. They feel like warnings. But they are not always truth. They are protection. Fear is your mind trying to keep you safe. Safe from embarrassment. Safe from failure. Safe from the unknown. But there is a problem. The same fear that protects you also limits you. If you listen to it every time, you will stay exactly where you are. Take the example of Sarah. When she finally decided to start, fear came immediately. She thought, what if I fail? What if people laugh? What if I lose everything? The fear felt strong, almost convincing. For a moment, she almost stopped again. This is where most people stop. Not because they cannot move forward, but because fear feels too real. But Sarah did something different. She did not try to remove the fear. She questioned it. She asked herself, what if I never try? That question changed everything, because now there were two fears. The fear of failure and the fear of staying. And she realized something important. A second fear was bigger. The fear of regret, the fear of wasted time, the fear of never knowing what could have happened. That fear pushed her forward, not with confidence, but with honesty. Ali experienced fear in a different way. When he started waking up earlier, when he began changing his routine, a voice in his mind said, this will not last. You will quit like before. Why are you even trying? This fear was not loud, but it was constant. It tried to pull him back into his old habits. And for a few days, he listened. He skipped his new routine. But something felt wrong, because now he was aware. He knew he was choosing comfort over growth. That awareness created discomfort, and that discomfort helped him see the truth. Fear was not stopping him. He was choosing to stop. That realization gave him control. He understood something powerful. Fear does not decide. I decide. From that point, he still felt fear, but he did not follow it blindly. Imran faced fear through failure. Every time he tried something new, he remembered his past failures. His mind told him, it will happen again. You will fail again. This fear was based on experience, which made it even stronger. But he changed his perspective. He stopped seeing failure as proof that he cannot succeed. He started seeing it as part of the process. That shift reduced the power, because failure was no longer the end. It was just a step. This is what you need to understand. Fear does not disappear when you start. Sometimes it becomes stronger, because you are doing something new, and your mind does not like uncertainty. But fear is not a signal to stop. It is a signal that you are stepping outside your comfort, and that is where growth happens. If you never feel fear, you are probably not challenging yourself. You are staying where it is safe, and safe does not lead to change. Now think about your own life. What are you avoiding? Not but because you are afraid. Maybe it is starting something new. Maybe it is taking a risk. Maybe it is making a decision. Fear will always give you reasons to wait. But waiting has a cost. Time passes, opportunities fade. Regret grows. The truth is simple. You do not need to remove fear. You need to move with it. Take the step even if your voice shakes. Start even if you feel uncertain. Continue even if doubt is present. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is action despite fear. Every time you act with fear, you become stronger. Not instantly, but gradually. Fear loses its control, because you prove to yourself that you are not controlled by it. This is how confidence is built, not before action, but through action. Sarah did not become fearless. She became someone who acts anyway. Ali did not silence his doubts. He moved forward with them. Imran did not forget his past. He used it to grow. This is the path. Fear will try to stop you. It will give you reasons, excuses, doubts, but you have a choice. Listen to it, or move anyway. That choice defines your life. Because everything you want is on the other side of action. Not the absence of fear, the presence of courage. And courage begins with one simple decision. I will not let fear decide my life. Once you make that decision, everything starts to change. Not because fear disappears, but because you stop obeying it. And that is when you begin to take control, step by step, action by action, into a life that once felt impossible, but is now becoming real. Chapter 7. The life that begins after the decision. The decision is not the end. It is the beginning, but you still have to walk through it. After you decide, a new phase begins. A phase where your actions matter more than your thoughts. This is where most people struggle. Because deciding feels powerful, but acting consistently feels difficult. Take the example of Imran. After he decided not to quit on himself, he felt motivated. For a few days, he worked hard. But then something happened. Life tested him. He faced problems. Things did not go as planned. He failed again. The same feelings returned. Doubt, frustration, disappointment. And a familiar thought appeared. Maybe nothing will change. This is the moment where many people give up. Not at the beginning, but after they have already started. Because the excitement fades, and reality appears. Imran stood at that point. He had two choices. Go back to his old life, or continue forward. The difference this time was simple. He remembered his decision. I will not quit on myself. That reminder gave him strength, not emotional strength, but mental clarity. He understood something important. Progress is not a straight line. It has ups and downs, success and failure, energy and exhaustion, and all of it is part of the journey. Ali experienced the same thing. After starting his new routine, he felt good. He was consistent, focused, motivated, but after some time, he lost energy. He skipped days. He felt lazy. He questioned his effort. Old habits tried to return. This is natural, because change is not just about starting. It is about continuing. Ali realized something. Motivation is not reliable. Some days you feel strong. Some days you do not. If you depend only on motivation, you will stop when it disappears. So he changed his approach. He stopped asking, "Do I feel like doing this?" and started saying, "I will do this anyway." That shift created discipline. Discipline is what keeps you moving. When motivation is gone, Sarah also faced this reality. After taking her first steps, she expected quick results, but progress was slow. She felt discouraged. She thought, maybe I am not good enough. Maybe this is not working. These thoughts were familiar, the same ones that had stopped her before. But this time she did something different. She did not stop. She accepted the slow progress. She understood something valuable. Growth takes time. Not everything will happen quickly. Not everything will feel rewarding immediately. But consistent effort creates results, even when you do not see them right away. This is the stage where your life truly begins to change, not at the moment of decision, but in the days that follow, when you continue despite difficulty, when you keep going without immediate reward, when you show up even when it is hard. That is where transformation happens. Most people never reach this stage because they quit too early. They expect fast results, easy progress, clear success. When they do not get it, and they return to their old life. But a few people continue, not because it is easy, but because they understand anything meaningful takes time. Those people create a different life, not overnight, but step by step. The truth is simple. Your life will not change in one day, but your direction can. And if you keep moving in that direction, your life will eventually follow. Think about where you are right now. You have seen the truth. You have felt the discomfort. You have made a decision. Now the real question is, will you continue? Not just today, but tomorrow and the day after. Consistency is what builds a new life, not intensity, not short bursts of effort, but steady action over time. Imran kept going, even after failure. Ali stayed consistent, even when he did not feel like it. Sarah continued, even when progress was slow. That is why their lives began to change. Not because they were special, but because they did not stop. You are now at the same point. The beginning of a new path. It will not be perfect. It will not be easy, but it will be real. And that is what matters. Every day you continue, you become stronger, more aware, more capable. You build a version of yourself that once felt. This is the life that begins after the decision. A life of action, growth, persistence. A life where you are no longer waiting, but creating, step by step, day by day, until one day you look back and realize you are no longer the same person. You became someone who did not quit. And that made all the difference. Chapter 8. The truth. It is uncomfortable, not for a moment, but for a long time. This is why many people say they want to change. But very few actually do, because they are not ready for what change requires. They want results, but they do not want the process. The process is where everything happens. Take the example of Ali. When he started changing his routine, it felt good in the beginning. Something new, something different. But after some time, the excitement faded. Waking up early became difficult. Staying consistent felt heavy. He thought, why is this so hard? He expected change to feel motivating, but instead, it felt like effort. This is the truth. Change is not always inspiring. Sometimes it feels boring. Sometimes it feels frustrating. Sometimes it feels slow. But that does not mean it is not working. It means it is real. Sarah faced the same reality when she started her journey. She imagined progress, fast results, clear success. But what she experienced was different. Slow growth, mistakes, uncertainty. Some days she felt confident. Other days she doubted everything. She asked herself, is this even worth it? This is where most people stop. Because the reality of change does not match their expectations. They think something is wrong. But nothing is wrong. This is how it works. Imran also struggled with this. After making his decision, he expected things to improve quickly. But problems continued. He failed again. He faced setbacks. For a moment, he thought, maybe nothing is changing. But he looked deeper. He noticed something important. His response had changed. Before, he would quit. Now, he kept going. That was progress. Not visible on the outside, but powerful on the inside. This is another truth about change. Not all progress is visible. Some of it happens within you. Your mindset, your habits, your reactions. These changes are slow, but they are the foundation. Without them, nothing lasts. Most people focus only on visible results, money, success, recognition, but they ignore internal growth. And without internal growth, external success is temporary. Change is not just about what you achieve. It is about who you become. Ali did not just change his routine. He became more disciplined. Sarah did not just start something new. She became more courageous. Imran did not just keep trying. He became more resilient. These qualities matter more than quick success. because they stay with you. Another truth about change is this: it takes longer than you expect. People underestimate time. They want results in days, weeks, months. But real transformation takes longer. This is why patience is important. Not passive waiting, but active patience, continuing your effort. Even when results are not immediate, this is difficult. Because you do not always see progress, but progress is still happening. Like a seed growing under the soil. You do not see, but it is developing. And one day, it becomes visible. Most people quit before that moment, because they think nothing is happening. But something is always happening, if you stay consistent. Now think about your own expectations. Do you expect change to be easy? Do you expect fast results? If you do, you will feel disappointed. Because reality is different, change will test you. It will challenge your patience, your discipline, your mindset. There will be days you feel like stopping, days when you question everything. But those days are part of the process, not signs to quit, signs to continue. The truth is simple. If you can accept the discomfort, if you can stay consistent, if you can be patient, you will change, not instantly, but surely. And that change will be real, not temporary, not based on motivation, but built. This is the kind of change that lasts. The kind that transforms your life, step by step, day by day, until one day, you realize you are no longer struggling the same way. You are stronger, more focused, more in control, but because you stayed through the discomfort, through the slow progress, through the truth of change. And that is what makes the difference. Not wishing for change, but living through it. No matter how difficult it feels, because in that difficulty, you are becoming someone new, and that is the real goal. Not just a different life, but a different you. Chapter 9. The new version of you. Change is not just about what you do. It is about who you become. After weeks and months of effort. After facing fear, pain, discomfort, you begin to notice you are not the same person. Ali noticed it first in small ways. He woke up early without forcing himself. He planned his day and followed through. He faced challenges without avoiding them. He was not perfect. Mistakes still happened. Failures still came. But he responded differently. He did not panic. He did not quit. He adapted. That was growth. Sarah noticed it in courage. She started taking risks she would have avoided before. She spoke up. She acted. She shared her ideas. Even when fear appeared, she acted anyway. She realized she was capable of more than she had imagined. Imran felt it in resilience. He faced setbacks, failed multiple times, felt discouraged. But he kept moving, not because he had no fear. It is about becoming a version of yourself that takes action anyway. You begin to see life differently. Problems are no longer threats, they are challenges. Mistakes are no longer failures. They are lessons. Opportunities are no longer distant dreams. They are possibilities you can reach. Your mindset shifts. You notice patterns you could not see before. You recognize habits that helped you. You let go of habits that held you back. Your confidence grows, not as arrogance, but as quiet assurance. You know you can face what comes. Your fears do not vanish. They exist. But you have learned to move with them. This is your new identity. It is built on action, not on waiting, on consistency, not on instant results, on facing discomfort, not avoiding it. Look at your own life. Every step you have taken has added to this version of you. Even small actions, even tiny victories, even moments when you felt like quitting, they all mattered. This is why the journey is more important than the destination, because the person you become is the real reward. Ali, Sarah, and Imran are examples. But so are you. Every decision you make, every step you take, every moment you choose to act despite fear, builds this new version of you. It is stronger than your doubts, wiser than your mistakes, more capable than your old self. And one day you will look back at the person you were before, the one who hesitated, who doubted, who waited, and you will see clearly. You have changed. Not because life gave you everything, but because you chose yourself. This is the power of consistent action, of deciding, facing fear, taking small steps, persisting through discomfort. This is why change is real, because it transforms the inside before the outside. And once the inside transforms, the outside follows. Opportunities appear, challenges become manageable, confidence becomes natural. The new version of you is not perfect. It is real. It is capable. It is resilient. It is alive. And this is the life you have been preparing for. Not by wishing, not by waiting, but by choosing, by acting, by refusing to give up. This is your reward, the life you create through courage, discipline, consistency, the life you deserve. And once you see this version of yourself, you understand something important. You are no longer defined by your past, your mistakes, your fears, your failures. You are defined by what you do next. And that defines everything. You are the new version of you. And that version is unstoppable. Chapter 10. This is your day before. If this book has found you, right now, this is the day before everything changes. The day before your life begins to look different. The day before you realize your potential. Nothing may feel different yet. The world looks the same routines, the same people, the same doubts, but something inside is stirring. A thought, a question, a feeling you cannot ignore. It is the moment that Ali, Sarah, and Imran faced, the moment that changed everything for them. This is not about luck, not about magic, not about waiting for someone to save you. It is about you, about the choices you make today, the action you take now, the courage to step forward. You do not need permission. You do not need certainty. You only need to start. One small action, one decision, one moment of honesty. It will feel insignificant at first. Waking up earlier, starting a task you have been avoiding, asking a question, saying yes when you would normally say no. But these small steps are the beginning of momentum, the beginning of clarity, the beginning of change. Most people wait. They wait for perfect conditions. They wait for full confidence. They wait for the right time. But the right time does not exist. There is only now. And this moment is yours, the day before everything changes. What you do today, how you respond to discomfort, how you face fear, how you take action, will shape tomorrow. It will determine whether you continue waiting or whether you begin moving. Holly started with 1 hour earlier in the day. Sarah started with sharing her idea with one person. Imran started with writing down his goals. None of them waited for perfection. None of them had certainty. They only acted, and that action created a path. You are standing in the same place they once did. The choice is yours. Will you continue as you are, or will you step forward? Every great change begins with this moment, the day before everything changes. Your life will not be perfect tomorrow, but it can begin the day after this day. You will not be the same, Because once you take action, even a small one, you can never go back. You will have started, and starting is everything. Your life is waiting. Your courage is waiting. Your new version is waiting. This is the day before your life begins. And it begins with you. Conclusion. Your life begins now. Everything you have read in this book leads to one simple truth. Change. It does not come from wishing. It comes from you. Every realization you had, every fear you faced, every small step you took, every moment you decided to act, built the path to a new life. Ali, Sarah, Emran, none of them had it easy. None of them had certainty. None of them had perfect, but they had one thing in common. They acted. They faced fear. They accepted discomfort. They kept moving forward. And that is what you must do. Your life will never wait for you to feel ready. Opportunities will not pause. Time will not stop. The day before everything changes is always today. You do not need to know the whole path. You do not need all the answers. You do not need perfect confidence. You only need to take the next step. That next step could be small. It could be simple. It could feel insignificant. But it is enough, because one step leads to another. One action leads to another. One decision leads to another. And slowly, gradually, relentlessly, your life begins to transform. You will face fear again. You will fail again. You will doubt yourself again. But each time, you will be stronger. You will be wiser. You will be more capable. This is the journey of growth, the journey of becoming your best self. And the truth is simple. Your life does not begin when circumstances are perfect. It begins when, not someday, but now. The day before everything changes is here. Your choice is simple. Step forward. Take action. Decide. Because this is your life, and only you can create it. Start today. Move forward today. Become the version of yourself you have always known you could be. Your life begins now, and nothing can stop it. This is your moment. This is your decision. This is your day before everything changes the end.
Kindly subscribe to my channel.